The steady hum of assembly lines in Kentucky, Ohio, and Tennessee has long symbolized the deep integration of Japanese automakers into the fabric of American industry. These plants, staffed by thousands of American workers, have produced millions of vehicles that fill U.S. roads and drive local economies. But today, that familiar rhythm is being drowned out by the escalating noise of international trade disputes and tense tariff negotiations. For decades, Japanese automakers like Toyota, Honda, and Nissan have been pillars of the American auto industry, investing billions to build cars on U.S. soil and create stable jobs for American families. Now, looming tariffs threaten to upend this carefully built relationship, sending shockwaves through the boardrooms of these global giants and raising urgent questions about the future. These companies must navigate a volatile and unpredictable political landscape, one that could fundamentally redefine their U.S. presence and business models for years to come. A proposed 25% tariff on imported vehicles and parts could add thousands of dollars to the price of every new car, putting pressure on consumers, risking sales, and threatening jobs nationwide in both manufacturing and retail. Japanese brands, once celebrated as major U.S. employers and community partners, now face growing scrutiny as foreign entities amid a surge in economic nationalism and protectionist sentiment. The intricate global supply chains, engineered for maximum efficiency and cost savings, are suddenly vulnerable to disruption. Automakers must now make tough choices, absorb the extra costs, pass them on to consumers, or undertake the massive challenge of overhauling their supply chains entirely, a process that could take years and billions in new investment. Each path carries immense risk, forcing executives into a scramble for new strategies to protect their investments, their workforce, and their hard-won market share in America. The stakes have never been higher for Japanese automakers in America as they face a new era of uncertainty and challenge unlike any before. The global trade climate is shifting rapidly, with new policies and regulations emerging that are reshaping the way countries do business with each other. One of the most significant changes is the proposed 25% tariffs on imported cars and parts, a move that threatens to unravel decades of free trade and economic cooperation between nations. For Japanese automakers, this means that popular imported models like the Lexus and Land Cruiser could soon become unaffordable for many American families, putting luxury and even mainstream vehicles out of reach for some buyers. More critically, tariffs on imported parts would raise production costs for vehicles assembled right here in the U.S., undermining their competitiveness and forcing manufacturers to make tough decisions about pricing and sourcing. Even a Toyota Camry built in Kentucky, a symbol of American manufacturing, could end up costing thousands more, despite being assembled by American workers using many U.S.-made components. The Center for Automotive Research warns that these tariffs could raise average vehicle prices by as much as $4,000, making new cars less accessible for millions of consumers. As a result, auto sales could drop by up to 2 million units annually, a dramatic decline that would ripple throughout the entire industry and affect related sectors. The ripple effect would be felt nationwide. Job losses at manufacturing plants, layoffs at suppliers, and dealership closures could become a harsh new reality for many communities. Automakers must now re-optimize their strategies, focusing not just on efficiency and cost, but also on navigating new political risks and uncertainties. The era of seamless global production is on hold, replaced by a scramble for localization and a renewed emphasis on domestic sourcing and manufacturing. Japanese companies are now forced to rethink every aspect of their U.S. operations, from supply chains to workforce planning, as they adapt to this new and uncertain trade environment. Today's trade tensions echo a long history between the U.S. and Japan, dating back to the 1970s oil crisis. Japanese automakers met America's demand for fuel-efficient cars, sparking both admiration and resentment. Voluntary export restraints in the 1980s led Japanese companies to build factories in the U.S., embedding themselves in local economies. These investments created jobs and introduced new manufacturing techniques, shifting perceptions from foreign threat to valued employer. Yet the current conflict is more complex. Tariffs now target not just finished cars, but the entire supply chain. The very strategy that once resolved trade disputes, building in America, is now under threat. Japanese automakers must again rethink their U.S. presence amid renewed economic nationalism. The stakes, the future of a multi-billion-dollar manufacturing ecosystem built over decades. Toyota's answer to tariff threats is clear. Invest even more in America. The company is pouring billions into U.S. plants, upgrading facilities in Kentucky, Alabama, and West Virginia to build advanced vehicles and hybrid components. By localizing production, Toyota reduces tariff exposure and strengthens its claim as a true American manufacturer. This strategy isn't just defensive, it's political. Every new job and factory expansion builds support against protectionist policies. Toyota's message, harming us means harming American workers. The company is building a political and economic firewall, brick by brick. Its future in America will be built, quite literally, in America. Honda, the first Japanese automaker to build cars in the U.S., is doubling down on its American identity, making it clear that its commitment to the United States goes far beyond just assembling vehicles on American soil. With a legacy of high domestic content, Honda is investing heavily in its plants in Ohio, Indiana, and Alabama, ensuring that the next generation of vehicles, including advanced electrified models, are designed, engineered, and built right here in America. By localizing the production of hybrid power units and other critical components, Honda not only minimizes tariff risks, but also strengthens its integration into the American manufacturing landscape, deepening its roots in local communities. Nearly two-thirds of Hondas sold in America are built here, supported by a vast network of over 600 suppliers and tens of thousands of American jobs, fueling local economies and supporting families across the country. Honda frames tariffs as a tax on American factories and workers, not just foreign imports, emphasizing that these policies directly impact the livelihoods of American employees and the competitiveness of U.S.-made vehicles. Its R&D centers in Ohio and California are hubs of innovation, where American engineers and designers create vehicles tailored specifically for U.S. drivers, reinforcing Honda's status as a truly domestic automaker. Honda's comprehensive approach, from initial design sketches to final assembly, demonstrates a deep, ongoing investment in American expertise, making a powerful case for its place in the heartland. This strategy acts as Honda's shield in an era of trade uncertainty, helping the company weather policy changes and global economic shifts while maintaining stability for its American operations. Honda's message is clear. We're not just in America, we are American. Woven into the fabric of communities from coast to coast, and proud to call the U.S. home. The company's 4-decade commitment to American manufacturing, innovation, and jobs is now its strongest defense and its proudest legacy. Nissan's response is more complex, shaped by its global alliance with Renault and Mitsubishi. While investing in its Tennessee plant for future electric vehicles, Nissan also relies on its Mexican facility for key models. The USMCA offers some stability, but tariff threats force constant reassessment of production locations. Nissan is shifting higher value and electric vehicle production to the US, while leveraging its global network to manage costs. The alliance's shared platforms add flexibility, but complicate supply chain decisions. Nissan's strategy is pragmatic: hedge bets, localize where possible, and stay nimble. If trade tensions escalate, cross-border supply chains could become a liability. Nissan's flexible approach aims to adapt to whatever the political climate brings. Tariffs would hit consumers first, with car prices jumping by thousands overnight. Even US-built vehicles would become more expensive due to pricier imported parts. Higher prices mean fewer sales, threatening jobs at assembly plants and throughout the supply chain. Suppliers, especially small and mid-sized firms, would be hit hard, risking tens of thousands of jobs. Automakers face a costly scramble to find domestic alternatives for thousands of components. Reshoring supply chains is slow, expensive, and often impractical for specialized parts. The just-in-time model is shattered, replaced by uncertainty and inefficiency. Investment slows, hiring stalls, and the industry waits in limbo. The entire American auto sector is caught in a storm of uncertainty. The cost of waiting may be as high as the tariffs themselves. The response of Japanese automakers is visible on the map. clusters of factories in the Southeast and Midwest. Billions in new investments are upgrading plants for advanced vehicles and localizing powertrain production. Data shows rising domestic content in models like the Honda Odyssey and Toyota Camry. These investments are not just about assembly, they're about building the most valuable components in America. The Made in America Index confirms a steady increase in U.S. parts in Japanese brand vehicles. Maps and charts tell the story. Japanese automakers are betting big on American workers and factories. This is a concrete, capital-intensive pivot, not just rhetoric. The strategy: survive and thrive by becoming more American than ever. Tariffs have forced Japanese automakers to overhaul their U.S. strategies, accelerating deep localization. Billions are being invested in American factories and supply chains, transforming these companies into domestic powerhouses. For consumers, this means higher prices. For workers, a mix of new opportunities and looming risks. The just-in-time supply network is being rewired, with no guarantee of success. Japanese automakers are building a fortress in America, making themselves indispensable to the U.S. economy. The partnership that defined the last 50 years is at a crossroads. Will it evolve into a new regional model, or will trade friction drive these economies apart? The answer will shape the future of the American auto industry for decades to come.